Today's episode of the Just Keep Swimming podcast is brought to you by Audible. Audible is an online audiobook and podcast service offering over 10,000 books and the ability to listen to your favorite podcasts, including the Just Keep Swimming podcast. I personally use Audible all the time and suggest you take a listen to Intentional Living by John C. Maxwell. In this book, Mr. Maxwell shares his story on how he was able to live a noble and purposeful life and gives you tips and tricks so you can do the same. So please start your 30-day free trial now at www.audibletrial.com/JKS podcast, all lowercase. Again, that is www.audibletrial.com/JKS podcast. And if you have any more questions or concerns for the Just Keep Swimming podcast, you're always welcome to reach out to us on Facebook or at Instagram at justkeepswimming_podcast, or you can email us at jkspodcast702@gmail.com. And with that out the way, let's dive into it. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to the Just Keep Swimming podcast. This is your friend, your boy, your host, Mr. Adrian Jackson, and we back at it again with another great episode for you. And you already know who's with me. It's the man, the myth, the legend. It's Mr. 1-3, dropping hot beats for the city. So please make sure you guys check out his latest projects because he's always dropping something new. But today, ladies and gentlemen, I kind of had a semi-interesting message that kind of came together over the weekend, and I kind of just want to talk about are you wasting your talents? Are you putting your talents to use? What are you doing with your talents? So this past weekend, at the beginning of this month, actually, my granny passed away. So I'm going to do a quick moment of silence for Granny. Thank you, guys. So again, RIP to my granny. But when she passed away, we had her funeral this weekend, and the pastor, he talked about how, you know, on every obituary you always see the day they were born, the day they passed, but in between those dates you see a dash. And it's kind of like, what are we doing during those times? You know, you're always promised birth and you only are promised death, and that dash is different for everybody. Some people dashes could be 80 years old, some people dashes could be 3 months, you know, but that dash is your chance to live and to be in this world. And you know, I understand that some people may die young and don't get the chance to really pull out their talents the way they want to, but what about for us that are, you know, past the age of 20, past the age of 30, and you know, we've been living this thing called life, and we're starting to, you know, get lost in life and forget about what life is about. And that's kind of where your talents come in, because your talents can help you really live life again and get life back to where you want it to be, back in your control, back to being pleasant and happy. And it kind of correlated to this conversation, this preaching that Mr. Joel Osteen talked about. He talked about the most wealthiest spot in the world is not the boardrooms, it's not the classrooms, it's not the colleges, but the most wealthiest spot in the world is the graveyard, because so many people have passed away without truly realizing their talents, the reason they were here on the earth. And you know, it was always something that really resonated with me, because you know, a while ago there was this amazing documentary I watched about this one guy who was technically better than Michael Jordan during the time of Michael Jordan, but this guy didn't take the proper steps to make sure that he utilized his talents the correct way. And because of that, you know, this amazing talent of being a basketball player that he had didn't go the way that he wanted to go. I'm sure he's probably coaching now and found some other way to use his talent, but it's just the principle that this man was better than the greatest player that ever lived, but because he didn't use his talents correctly, he never got that title. And it always makes me think about, the amazing singers that you hear that, they sing in churches. They probably never sing. You hear them sing in the shower, but, their voice never really made it to the world to really share with the world like it was made to be. Or these amazing ideas and amazing inventions. Like, I'm pretty sure there's somebody out there that had an invention that was greater than a computer, something that was utilizing electricity better, but because they never actually applied it or, took that step of faith to put their neck out there, their talents just went to the grave with them, and the world never got to see it. So, that kind of brings me to my message for today of, are you wasting your talents? Are you actually putting your talents to use the way you're supposed to? I think that's something that we all need to stop and think about and try to start realizing of, am I actually using my talents, or am I just going through life and doing what the world says I should do? I was having an amazing conversation with Jessica the other day, because she was like, she's not really sure what her purpose is, and she's tired of working and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, no, I truly understand, but the way the world is now, you have the ability to really make money doing anything that makes you happy. All you got to do is just learn to apply it correctly. And that right there is something that I think a lot of us don't really think about, because we are raised in a society where they say you have to do A, B, and C to be this, that, the third. And now, the way internet is, the way the world is now, that's proved false. You don't have to do A, B, C to be where this person, that person is. All you really have to do is just have a positive mindset, have faith in yourself, and just chase that dream, whatever it may be. Because like the other day, I saw a video of a dude doing shadow puppets that are dancing, and it's like, that's an interesting talent, like, he found something that he loves to do that's fun for him, and people are like, you should record this. And now this part guy has millions of views and is getting paid by YouTube doing something this goofy, or all the people that, oh, I have dreams, I want to play video games for the rest of my life and get paid for it. And as we all know, there are plenty of people are doing that now, which you couldn't do probably 10, 12 years ago. But now in the year 2020 and above, we have the ability to do that. So, my mindset is even if you have a talent that you feel is probably useless or is not effective or is not productive or wherever the case may be, still use it and apply it in a way, shape, or form, because you never know, this talent could be something that the world is missing and we actually need it. But the last thing I want you to do is take it to the graveyard with you and never actually giving it to the world and letting the world see. I always think about KFC guy, the Colonel Sanders, and they talk about how he was trying to be an entrepreneur for years on years, and it took him until about 80 years old to actually decide to sell the family chicken recipe, which they did all the time. He had this recipe mastered in his mind, and he always cooked this chicken, and it was always good, but he never realized that this talent could be used to share the world, give people full, get people happy, give people, reasons to be around family and share a meal together. His talent brought people together in way more ways than he ever imagined. And then I'm pretty sure, even though he was 80, he probably still made his dreams come true and set his family up with an amazing future that nobody can, knock down. And that's because he finally realized that this talent he's been holding on to for so long should have been released. Like, just imagine if the guy who did KFC didn't release it at 80 but released it at 30. Like, who knows where he would be now? Who knows where that restaurant would have been at? You know what I'm saying? So, that's kind of my message for the day. Let's let our talents go. Let's not shoot them down. Let's not say they're, boring, they're stupid, people aren't interested to it, and shake all that off and trust that your talents are your talents and God gave you this talent for a reason. So let's learn how to multiply the talent. It goes back to the story in the Bible about the master with the 3 slaves, and the master was going away on business, so he gave every slave money. One slave turned that one bill into thousands, another slave turned that one into 500, but then one slave, he was scared to waste it, so he kept the one and he stashed it, and when the master came back, he just gave it back to him. And I kind of really find that interesting, the idea that, God made you a certain way for a reason. He gave you these abilities and these talents and these skills for a reason. And when you pass away, are you going to tell him, hey, God, I did what I could do with those skills and I multiplied them and I taught all this and I did that and the third? Or are you going to say, I never thought my talents were worth anything, so here you go, here they back. And I feel like that right there is more disappointing than anything, Definitely when somebody gives you the tools and skills to do something and you just don't do nothing with them, you just sit on them, the person is going to be upset because they're like, I could have gave this to somebody else that actually did something with it and you just wasted it. So let's not waste our talents. Let's not take our talents for granted. Let's love who we are for who we are. Let's be who we're made to be, and let's go out there and just try to stretch ourselves and use our talents in the way we want to. I'm not sure what my talent is. I'm gonna keep it 100, but I do know that my talent has something to do with my voice. I have no idea what it be, but I know that something is when I talk, people just want to listen. When I speak up, people hear me. I can carry my voice loud. It don't matter how loud the place can be. I can take my voice over the decibels to make sure the person I'm looking and talk to or yelling at, they can hear me. And, I'm still trying to understand my talent, but I'm putting my talent to work right now with the reffing, with talking to kids, with doing the podcast, with the hosting the trivia. I'm continuing to put my talent to work, praying that one day my true purpose will finally be revealed to me and God is going to be like, this is why I gave you your voice. This is what your talent is truly, truly for. Let's go and help the world. And trust me, I can't wait until that day. I'm so looking forward to it. So, with all that being said, my question for you is, have you realized your talent? Do you know your talent? Are you afraid of your talent? Are you ashamed of your talent? And if any of that is true, let's take it away. Don't be ashamed of your talent. Love your talent. Let's try to find your talent. Let's think back to your childhood, like things that I used to love to do, because that can possibly be your talent. You have to just bring it back to life. But whatever the case is, you do have a talent, even if it's just one. You have it, and we need to find it, and we need to learn how you can master it so you can truly live the life that you're meant to live. And I believe that everybody can do this. Everybody has the capability. All it takes is that one step, and you can do it. Take one step, and you got this. But with all that being said, hope you guys had a wonderful day, a marvelous afternoon, a splendid evening. I pray that this message helped you guys, and you continue to go out there, search for your talents, apply your talents, and grow your talents so you can become the best you can be. With all that being said, please remember to just keep swimming.